Ladies and gentlemen, popular Kannada actor Darshan Thoogudeepa and his partner Pavitra Gowda were arrested for their alleged role in the murder of a man in Bengaluru today. Apart from the couple, 10 others have also been taken into custody by the police in connection with the same matter. Now, the 47-year-old actor and his partner were picked up from his farmhouse in Mysuru and brought back to Bengaluru for questioning. Earlier today, the victim, Renuka Swami, who's 33-year-old, was found dead at Sumanali Bridge in Bengaluru. He worked at Apollo Pharmacy branch in Chitradurga and had allegedly sent derogatory messages to Darshan's partner. The preliminary investigation by Karnataka police revealed that Renuka Swami had sent obscene messages to the partner, and of course, police are now questioning more than 10 individuals. CCTV was examined and the victim was identified as Renuka Swami from Chitradurga. That's what Bengaluru police told media persons today. Darshan Thoogudeepa is seen as a very popular actor from the state of Karnataka. He's also the son of yesteryear actor Thoogudeepa Srinivas. He's also a producer. He's been in controversies before with regard to his accusations regarding his involvement in domestic violence, and also he's known for his roles that depict him in movies as a leader of the masses. He has, of course, faced controversies in the past, but this is a bizarre case. Of course, the investigation is still on, but how did this murder case unravel in Karnataka? Who is this actor in question? Who was the victim here, and how is the investigation proceeding? We'll try and make sense of all of that. We have a panel of esteemed guests joining us in a bit, but first let's look at reactions to the story.
We have the advocate representing actor Darshan, Mr. Shantu Matapati. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, now we have actor Darshan, who's formally arrested by the police. What is the line of defense?
No, madam, we have applied a certified copy from the court, and just now we have spoke with Darshan and also police. Now police will taking the Darshan to the court. They will produce the before the court, and we are going to file a bail application.
So, have you spoken to actor Darshan?
Yeah.
What does he say with respect to this case?
He is innocent in this case. He has not done anything. He is innocent, and he will come out with clean hands.
In connection with a murder case registered in Kamakshipalya police station, limits of Bangalore West Division, which was registered on 9th morning, one of the actors of Kannada film industry has been secured and he is being questioned. The details are yet to be ascertained, and since the matter is under investigation, further details we will be able to. The victim is one person from Chitradurga. He is about 33-year-old. His name is Renuka Swami. He is ascertained to be the victim.
Sir, all of them are detained or arrested, sir?
They are being questioned.
They are being questioned. Sir, how many have been detained till now in this case?
They are being questioned.
Sir, how many, sir?
They are being more than 10 persons are being questioned.
And he has been murdered with a knife or what, sir? Any idea, sir? How many?
Further details are awaited.
ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗದ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಕೊಲೆಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಲೆಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕೊಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕೆಲವ್ರನ್ನ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಎಂಕ್ವೈರಿ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ದರ್ಶನ್ ಅವರು ಹೆಸರು ಕೂಡ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಇದೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ತನಿಖೆ ಆಗೋವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವೇನು ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
I have my colleague Pratibha Raman joining us from Bengaluru to help us understand this story better. Pratibha, I was trying to talk to friends from Karnataka to understand who this actor is and how bizarre this case is. And of course, you know, they talked about Katera, which is of course a recent movie of Darshan, which shows oppression of desperate landlords on farmers. And you know, Mr. Darshan has been known to sort of play these mass leader roles. He's in fact in one of his movies, he's even talking about Devraj Urs. He has in the past also campaigned for Sumalata Ambarish, but he's also been in controversies including boycott by Kannadiga media and also domestic violence cases. But this murder, allegations are really, really very serious, and that too, this concerns his partner, his intimate partner. So tell us what really is the case all about. How is the investigation? Where does it stand right now? And who was the person who was a victim here? Because there are reports that say that he was also a fan of the actor.
Well, what we know for sure is that this deceased person is a 33-year-old who hails from Chitradurga, who runs a medical shop is what we are told. But why did he really come to Bengaluru is something that is still a mystery now. And having come to Bengaluru, he was found murdered on June 9th, which triggered a set of investigation protocols that followed, with a lot of people who were detained, around 10 of them precisely, who were interrogated, and that is when the name of actor Darshan cropped up. Now, how is that a link to this particular case? Well, there were derogatory remarks that were posted on social media with respect to Darshan, as well as his co-star, as well as close friend Pavitra Gowda there. Now, Pavitra Gowda as well as actor Darshan have been allegedly engaged in an affair, is what the rumors have been portraying, and this has been made public in the form of a social media post by the deceased here. This could have perhaps irked Darshan. Whether those people did act at the behest of actor Darshan, this triggered the set of arrests that followed with respect to Darshan being picked up from Mysuru, brought to Bengaluru for questioning, and then his aide as well, who was brought in for questioning, followed by Pavitra Gowda, who was also called in for questioning. This has now resulted in the arrest of both Darshan as well as Pavitra Gowda. Where does it stand? Well, both of them have been produced before the magistrate. The defense has been suggesting that they have not absconded, and that this is a case where they can be called in for questioning at any given point in time. And why should the police now seek custody of both Darshan as well as Pavitra Gowda? In the meantime, the police have been, or the counsel representing the prosecution have been arguing that they need to do spot inquests, and they now have the CCTV footage as well as the statements, which all need to be corroborated. And this is a murder case, and actor Darshan's involvement there could possibly result in the case reaching its logical end. So these are the arguments that are being presented before the court, and the police seeking 14 days custody so far is what we learn. All eyes are on the legal procedures that would follow, as well as the details that would emerge with the interrogation of a famous actor of the Kannada film industry like Darshan. Back to you.
Thank you, Pratibha, for joining us with those details. Of course, legal action is all set to follow now. Also joining us now is Sanjay Sahai, who's a former additional DGP of Karnataka and cyber expert. We have Kasturi Shankar, who is an actor and an activist. And we also have Deepak Raheja. Dr. Deepak Raheja is the director and chief psychiatrist at Hope Care India. Starting with you, Mr. Sahai, you've worked with the police, you've seen this all. Tell us, how difficult is it to sort of make sense of cases and in fact crack cases like this, because there are so many open-ended questions here. There's a popular actor who seemed to be very upset that there is somebody out there who's sending really obscene messages to his partner. Then of course he sorts of he hires people. That's all we know. And there is of course this man who's been sending messages, basically being bothered about the personal life of an actor here. So there are so many of course open-ended questions here, which basically make us ask you this question: how does the police even crack cases like this?
See, as you have told earlier, this is a bizarre case. There is absolutely no doubt about it. So this bizarre case has lots of loose ends, undeniably lots of loose ends. What I would like to put as a preface, that in the social media world which we live in, our reactions and motivations have drastically changed compared to what it used to be earlier. So a social media post or a couple of social media posts can lead to a nature of a murder of this nature is something which is totally ununderstandable from our experience 5 or 10 years back. So literally anybody and everybody has been provided a publicity machine which can go universal instantaneously and can damage any sort of relationship, and might be somewhere this is at the background of whatever has happened. Now we come to the second question as to how the murder happened. So until unless we are able to get the details of the nature of the murder, it will become very, very difficult to give a final judgment.
Right.
The police is certainly tight-lipped about the nature of investigation, but there is no denying the fact that this person was coming up with lewd remarks or remarks which these people, Pavitra Gowda and Darshan, did not like.
Right.
And this whole thing was initiated. But whether he was directly involved with the murder, he was a co-conspirator, or in whichever way it happened, it would be extremely difficult to comment at this point in time.
Right.
The identity of the victim has been established by CCTV and other details. And what is also interesting that 3 of these guys of the 11 people arrested or 11 people detained, which includes the Pavitra Gowda and Darshan, they had gone and they had surrendered to the police.
Yeah.
And they tried to give details, which I think started with some flimsy sort of an excuse or a motive, and finally graduated into what it has. And their details led to nabbing of other people and finally reaching Darshan and Pavitra Gowda. There would be enough evidence today by way of digital evidence, both by CCTV footage and the number of phones, mobiles which have been used. If 11 people are conspiring in a murder case, there will be huge amount of digital evidence which will indicate to that. Whether that would be a direct evidence or a sufficiently enough electronic evidence to pin down whosoever are the likely accused, I
Right.
think that can be done. So these loose threats would be able to, the police will be able to tie up the loose threats by circumstantial evidence, by the movement of people, by electronic evidence, and also getting forensic evidence examined whenever it is required, and might be a huge investigation to the social media of who initiated, who reacted in which manner, might
Right.
give some clue into the understanding of this whole bizarre murder case.
Absolutely. Kasturi Shankar, as an activist, how do you see the other aspect to this story? Because I was also reading reports, talking to people, and many of them, local media, local reports also basically say that, this is a man, the victim here was really upset that this man was, he had a partner now, and there was a lot of sympathy for his first wife, Vijay Lakshmi. So clearly personal lives of actors are also out there in the open. And here is a man who basically, the actor, the popular actor is basically taking, law into his own hands and saying that, if you have the audacity to send lewd messages to my partner, then I will basically give you the lesson of your life myself. So clearly there are so many problems here. As an activist, as somebody who works with women, how do you see this?
First of all, I think, it doesn't matter whether my status as an actor or an activist is irrelevant. I think people's personal business, people's personal lives should remain personal. And that is one of our constitutional rights, to the right to privacy, to have, nobody has the right to virtue call people's personal lives. Only 2 people involved in that situation know what's actually happening. So I understand that the public sentiment was fully sympathetic to Vijay Lakshmi, that is Darshan's wife. I won't say first wife because I'm not even sure that he is married again. I believe that Vijay Lakshmi continues to be his wife, but I don't think there has been a divorce, but I could be wrong. The point is, perhaps Darshan is wrong, perhaps he's right. When it comes to personal lives, we really don't have the status quo we don't have the locus standi to comment on people's private lives. This is one. We don't have that in India. In India, nobody has a personal life. As a society, as a culture, we're always interested in passing judgment and talking about all the others other than our own problems. Except our backyard, we will talk about everything else.
Right.
Now, this particular person, the victim in this case,
Right.
seems to have gone overboard in that he has sent obscene messages, and I'm not sure if he has sent threats as well to Pavitra Gowda.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure, again, as Mr. Sahai said, I'm not sure that you should jump the gun here and say the actor took law into his own hands. I don't think, we cannot assume that he did. He may have reacted. I'll tell you one thing, as an actor, I think we as a species, the acting species, all actors have a very thick skin.
Right.
We are always in the public eye, and people like he's a very huge star.
Right.
He must be used to, and Pavitra Gowda Chakkar to 2015 से हो रहा है. It is 9 years into the making. I don't think it's something new for him.
Okay.
I don't think he is going to suddenly react to it.
Right.
So I don't think an actor of his standing with a 9-year-old story is
Okay.
the story of this second relationship is 9 years old at least.
Right, right.
I don't think
But Kasturi,
he would
let
have
me
been
also
troubled
ask you an
suddenly.
important question. Has social media made it all the more difficult for actors, for popular actors, especially because there's so much of Insta reels. Yeah, because there is a window to personal lives that normal people, common people have now. Has that made it difficult for actors to really hide their personal life? Because I completely agree with you that personal lives of whoever it is should not be like up for judgment. But clearly, has social media made it worse for actors?
Not just worse, it has normalized virtue calling. It has normalized social magnifying glasses on public figures, not just actors, whether they be sports stars or businessmen. I mean, we have a society that doesn't think twice about heckling a businessman who is yet to get married and body shaming him.
Right.
It's a very cruel,
Right.
anonymous, heckling society
Right.
out there.
Let me
It's
get
very,
Dr.
in that
Raheja
case,
here because
it's
that's
not
an important
anonymous.
point that
I
you
believe
make.
there's something sinister going on.
Right.
I don't think people will resort to murder because somebody sent you obscene messages. That
Right.
doesn't even fit. There
Okay.
is something more going on.
Okay. So, Dr. Raheja, how do you help us understand what should be going on in the minds of somebody who's sending these obscene messages to a woman here, and like reportedly very upset with the fact that there seems to be no he's upset with the fact that the actor seems to be in supposedly in a relationship with someone else. So, how do you see how do you see that?
So primarily, I think, first of all, what is construed as a lewd or a obscene message is a question of ambiguity and is worthy of scanning and delving further. What can enrage a particular person may be able to evoke resilience in another person. So human mind can be very variable. I don't think it is our purview to decide whether the crime was committed or not committed. But what really is evident is that it may be unfair to say that a provocation of what intensity could evoke a reaction from a person to get enraged enough to cause hurt or to kill somebody is a matter of absolute ambiguity and can really vary across spectrum. But such can be crimes of passion. They can be crimes of honor. They can be crime of being hurt and bruised. Would also depend on the predisposing personality that the person has, how he reacts to provocation. What was the context? I do agree with Ms. Kasturi that it cannot be just a few messages that enrage somebody enough to decide to kill. I'm sure there is a lot more that's going behind the scene, and to what extent the planning happened, the conspiracy happened, people were co-conspirator, but clearly this can be a very, very tricky and a very warped mind. I mean, for any kind of provocation, for somebody to decide to conspire or co-conspire to kill somebody has to be a very, very warped and a very unstable and almost equivalent to a sick mind, an antisocial psychopathic mind. And the makeup of such a mind can be very, very complex, depending on many, many variables, including, like I said, the provocation, the underlying personality, and what really was happening in between the lines and behind the curtain, behind the scene, which we may still not be aware of.
Right. Also, before I go to Kasturi again, Mr. Saha, help us understand what should the line of investigation be right now, and as a former cop, what do you think are the most important sort of questions that need to be answered?
I think the most important question which stands today in this nascent phase of investigation is to first understand what was the nature of conspiracy, who were the people involved, and I think even while that is being unraveled, it is very important to understand the motive of the crime. We are talking about lewd remarks, and two of my other panelists certainly seem to be having divergent view with regards to that being the only motive or the main motive, or it was persistent and consistent attacks on the social media might be outside, which we are not aware of.
Right.
So to understand the motive, see, in any crime, motive is most important. After the motive, we come to the conspiracy. After the conspiracy, we come to actually who all conspired. What was the nature of communication?
But sir, as
Whether
a former
these fellows
cop,
were hired.
do you agree that there are such gruesome acts of violence committed only over messages? Like help us understand that. Have there been precedents like
It's
this?
very difficult, and a psychiatrist can give a better view as to how a person can react in a particular situation. For
Right.
us, if we go by the legality of it, sudden provocation is also a term when we talk about motive of murder, and certainly this is not a sudden provocation. And as Kasturi was saying, this relationship also stands for around a decade, which was also
Yeah.
being flaunted on Instagram.
Yeah.
So only lewd remarks, couple of them, it seems to be slightly far-fetched.
Okay.
But how a criminal mind would react, if I may use that term,
Right.
it's very difficult to say. We also know, for instance, where a kid killed I think it's one of his parents or something, and when he was taken to the
Right.
police station, he was still busy with the mobile phone.
Right.
So one more thing I would like to add, that this public figure and private life, actually in reality it does not work out at all. And for whatever we talk about privacy, I think the Indian mind and the Indian
Right.
population, they are not tuned to a level where social media can be differentiated in private and
Absolutely.
public.
Yes.
So from a very simple thing, circumstantial evidence, all the digital evidence, motive of the crime, conspirators, nature of conspiracy, hired killers or co-conspirators killing, and the role of these two people.
Right.
So that is where we stand: direct, indirect, otherwise paid, mercenary, whatever.
Right. Closing remarks from you, Kasturi. What are your main, what are the questions that you would want answered in this bizarre case?
Yeah, initial reports suggest that, number one, first I want to quickly say something about what Sri Sahai said. He was talking about mobile phone and how a kid, killed in a fit of frenzy. This seems to not be a murder of passion. It doesn't look like the victim met Darshan and, Darshan assaulted the victim in a fit of passion or anything like that. The murder has happened in a remote location. These people have been in their holiday home in Mysore. 3 people involved seem to have taken Mr. Darshan's name while interrogation was carried out.
Right.
So I really think we should wait for more facts to come out in this case before passing any kind of comment, because that may hamper the investigation.
So big questions there that are left to be answered. Of course, investigation is on course there, and we will get to know all of that in a few days from now. Thank you all of you for joining me on this show.